guys, it is Vlogmas 2, and today I'm going to talk about the Summer I Turned Pretty books versus show, okay? Now, if you guys don't know, I clearly have seen the show and fell in love with the show. I love Jenny Han, like she definitely did that. But I was like, let me go ahead and read this book because it was a book turned into a show. And I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I'm one of them. If they turn like a book into a show or a book into a movie, 9 times out of 10, actually no, 10 times out of 10, I'm going to watch the movie or the show over the book. I did that with Twilight, Divergent, Maze Runner. What else? Summer I Turned Pretty, 12 Boys I Loved Before. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess because I'm more visual and I know it's kind of going to be similar to the book and it's going to have differences. But today I'm going to talk about the Summer I Turned Pretty book. So before I start this video, make sure you drop the like it's hot on that like button. Make sure you get low in the comment section. Make sure you check on the subscribe button and turn your post notification bell so you know when my next video is gonna be here. Okay, let's get into it. So the Summer I Turned Pretty books, it has 3 books, just like on the show it had 3 seasons. So the first is called The Summer I Turned Pretty. The second one is called, I'm gonna lie, these books had a lot of chapters. I was like, God dang. The second book is called It's Not Summer Without You. And I think the third book is called We'll Always Have Summer. Sorry about that, you guys. But I'm not gonna lie. The books were kind of boring. Especially the first book. I'm so boring. Like, I would say I like the second and the third book flow. I felt like the second and the third book had more context. It had more description. You actually know what Belly is thinking and trying to say. Unlike the first book, I just feel like there was no context at all. I would say on the show, in order, I like the first season, then the third season, then the second season. I think for the books, I like the third book, the second book, and the first book. I did not like the first book at all. I would say, Jeremiah, I'm not gonna lie, Jeremiah to me was way better in the books than on the show. I feel like I told y'all in my last video that I did about the Summer I Turned Pretty, which is, I did for Vlogtober 1, when I was talking about the last season. I felt like Jeremiah, to me, I fell in love with Jeremiah, the character, the first season. The second and the third, low, decrease. I just felt like the more the seasons went on, the show went on, he became more immature, childish, a crybaby. He throws a temper tantrum if he doesn't get his way. It was too much. He still kind of did that in the books, but I felt like he was more mature in the books. I felt like he had a clear understanding about Belly and her feelings, about his mother, I don't know, I just feel like Jeremiah from the book and the show is literally night and day. Now, I would say Conrad's character, I liked his character better on the show than the book. I felt like in the book, he had no personality whatsoever. At least on the show, he had a little bit of personality. Because like on season 1, I wasn't a Conrad fan. I'm not really on the bad boy side, the moody guy side, the guy that everybody loves. Oh my gosh, because I'm not usually on the bad boy side. Even though Conrad wasn't necessarily the bad boy, but I feel like out of him and Jeremiah, he was quote unquote the bad boy type and Jeremiah was the good guy. I just felt like Conrad was way better on the show than in the book. I felt like we really didn't get to see his personality literally in the third book. Literally in the third book. Like, I felt like deep down he was really romantic. Deep down he really loved Ellie. Deep down he had a lot of thoughts in his head. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like on the show So that's the difference. So I would say I like Jeremiah more in the books than in the show, and I like Conrad more on the show than in the book. Taylor was very, I don't want to say irrelevant. She was kind of irrelevant. I feel like she was more relevant to than Steven. Steven, it was to the point, I'm like, Jenny, girl, you should have made Belly an only child, because we barely heard from Steven. We barely knew what he was doing. He was literally irrelevant in the book. So I'm glad on the show, she brought Taylor and Steven characters more on the show, more storylines, and they were together. Because I'm not gonna lie, in the third book, Taylor low-key had a crush on Bradford.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
What? And I feel like we got to see more of Anika in the book. Why we couldn't get this on the show. For instance, it was from the third book where Belly wanted to be away from Jeremiah a little bit. She wanted to make friends with the girls in her dorm. She played the game. It was like, I feel like we should have saw more of Belly's college life than her be with Jeremiah. But I understood. I think they made the third season very drama heavy, because I feel like every season of the show was drama, but the third season, it was like back to back drama to the point it was low-key overwhelming. I feel like the book flow was way better, but I feel like for dramatic purposes, that's why the third season was like the way it was. Because I feel like a lot of things in the book, they should have put in the show. Even in the second book, I like the second book flow more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like Jeremiah was mad at her, but I felt like in the second season, it was well known. Belly and Jeremiah had not talked. He's mad at her. She's so oblivious. She doesn't understand why Jeremiah's mad at her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like the books in those details made more sense than the show. But I would say, to me, it seemed like Belly low-key had a crush on Jeremiah. Like, I felt like the first book, for Conrad to be like, oh my God, the love of my life, Conrad's my dream guy, I'm gonna get Conrad by my birdie, oh my God, Conrad Fisher. Like, how she was so obsessed with him on the show. I felt like in the first book, she was honestly obsessed with Jeremiah. I feel like she had more of a crush on Jeremiah than Conrad in the first book. Like, just something she would say about Jeremiah, I'm like, girl, what? And then Jeremiah was her first kiss in the book, because Belly, Jeremiah, Conrad, Taylor, Steven, they all played Truth or Dare. And I think Taylor dared Jeremiah to kiss Belly, and that was her first kiss. And she, I don't know, I feel like in the book, she really liked Jeremiah. Even when Jeremiah and Taylor was flirting, she low-key was jealous that they were flirting. It's like, girl, I'm confused. Do you like Jeremiah or do you like Conrad? Like, I'm confused. And I felt like on the show, she generally did not like Jeremiah like that. Like, I felt like on the show, the first season, like, when he admitted that he liked her, you literally saw the shock on her face because she was shocked. I felt like she was shocked in the book, but at the same time, in my head, I'm like, Belly, that doesn't make any sense, because all the other things you said prior to what he told you, you acted like you low-key thought about him that way, that you liked him. So I really didn't understand that. I feel like she really didn't really show the effort to Conrad in the first book, when I think she just had her moment, and she was arguing with Conrad, and then that's when Jeremiah showed up. They had a fist fight, and then that's when Susanna came out, and that's when, they knew they had and I think also in the book, Jeremiah knew Susanna was sick, but I think she just didn't know that. I think Conrad and Jeremiah in the book both knew she was sick. And then I even feel like Jeremiah in his relationship, they had a relationship in the books. Now, was Conrad still his favorite? Yes. But I feel like he had a relationship with his dad, and I think Jeremiah hated his dad. On the show, you can tell that Jeremiah was craving his attention for his dad. His dad was not studying him. And I feel like in the book, it was the opposite of that. And I feel like Conrad was Jeremiah in the book, where Conrad loved his dad so much, you know, he wanted to be like his dad. But then I think by the time the third book happened, he didn't really care about what his dad thought. So I feel like it was a lot of similarities and it was a lot of differences in the book. And then Taylor, she dated Davis in the third book. And she did have a crush on Steven, and they did have a moment in the first book, but I think Belly low-key shut that down, and they just didn't go back. So I'm glad Jenny, like I said, she brought Taylor and Steven more in the show, and they actually happened to fall in love. Because I'm not gonna lie, Taylor and Steven, they was one of my favorite couples on the show. So to read the books, and it was the total opposite of that, like they barely had any interaction at all. That was like weird to me. Laurel was pretty much the same in the book and in the show. John, I feel like we got to see more of John in the books, but not really on the show. Susanna was pretty much the same in the book as she was in the show. Who else? Kim Cameron. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Kim Cameron was better in the book than the show. I feel like the way they described him in the show, he was like a lost puppy. He was kind of like Belly. He was kind of short. In the book, he was tall. They dang near acted like he was an athlete. He was a god of his school. Everybody knew. Like, I feel like he was like very different in the book than he was in the show. I feel like Belly gave Kim Cameron more attention in the book than she did on the show. I feel like after like the first or second episode, she didn't really like Kim Cameron anymore. I feel like the entirety of the first book she did, but I felt like she just couldn't hide her feelings for Conrad anymore. But in the book, she didn't give Kim Cameron any closure. Like, she just never talked to him. I feel like ever since they had their disagreement, she never talked to him again. Never even mentioned him. It was just like, whoop, poof, be gone. Like, so, but like I said, I feel like they gave us closure for Kim Cameron, and they gave us more of Kim Cameron because I feel like for dramatic purposes, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I feel like that would have been the true love triangle between her, Kim Cameron, and Conrad. That would have been the true love triangle. And I feel like Taylor, Steven, and Jeremiah, that should have been another true love triangle. But now, it was a breakup scene. Belly made it clear her and Jeremiah broke up. So she said it in chapter 5, page 29, they were broken up. And I think she said it again twice. Anyway, she said it twice that they were broken up. So Belly, were you guys on a break or were you broken up? I still say to this day, they were still broken up, even in the book. Now I felt like, even with the breakup scene, to me, in the book, their breakup scene showed, not their breakup scene, but I'm saying when she confronted him about that she heard about him and Lacey in combo. I feel like their scene in the book gave me more passion than in the show. I feel like in the show, I kind of agree with everybody. When she confronted Jeremiah, the scene kind of lackluster. Like, you really didn't feel their relationship. Like, oh my God, they're really heartbroken. They're really broken up. I felt like the book was way better interpreting that scene than in the show. And I even like, and it was a little bit different than how they did it in the show than in the book. I think in the book, they went into his room and argued. On the show, they went outside and argued in front of the fraternity house. And I think, and also, Belly wasn't even studying abroad when the book began. but she was studying abroad when the show, because she wanted to go to Paris and stuff. But at the end of the book, she ended up studying abroad and she went to Spain. You know what I'm saying? So it, like I said, it was differences that I feel like they should have put that in the show, but I feel like they wanted to make it different and, like I said, more have a dramatic effect in the show. And then I felt like Jeremiah, I feel like he really liked Belly. He really loved her. I feel like in the book he seemed remorseful. On the show he seemed remorseful, but I feel like low-key is because he got caught. Like, I don't think he was, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, like I told y'all in my last video, I just couldn't feel Belly and Jeremiah. I just felt like they should have just been one of those girl and guy best friends. Y'all should have just stayed girl and guy best friends. Y'all did not need to date. And I felt like in the book, I don't know, to me in the book, it kind of seemed like she just went for it. Because it was like, well, okay, he's here. He happens to be a good kisser. Maybe I should go for it. Like, I feel like in a book, she didn't really want to go for Jeremiah. He just happened to be there. It was like, oh, well, okay. And I feel like on the show, the second season, she acted like she was really yearning for Jeremiah. And I didn't really understand that. Because I'm like, girl, where did this come from? Like, but then, I don't know. I just felt like Belly, she was very much confused. I felt like she kind of contradicted herself a lot when it came to both Jeremiah and Conrad. Oh, in her and Conrad beach scene, how they did in the show. In the book, again, I feel like even though Christopher and Lola, they did well, that scene was Chef's kiss. They did really good in that scene. They did, I still felt that same moment, that same heartbroken moment in the books. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like they gave Conrad a sense of humor, like a personality in the third book. But I felt like when you watch the show, you deep down knew his personality. He just happened to be a douchebag in the first book. In the first season. But, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, you guys. Like I said, I feel like the show is better than the book. But I feel like I like the book flow. And I like the book certain scenes. I like how they did it in the book than how they did it on the show. And then the second book, the whole second season where the storyline was they were all that Bailey and Jeremiah was looking for Conrad, but also the conflict of the show was they need to save the beach house. It wasn't that dramatic in the second book. It was, but it wasn't. I feel like really in the second book, her and Jeremiah had a plan. Go find Conrad. They found him in the summer house. They're trying to work with him. Keep talking to Adam. You know, they keep trying to want Conrad to go back to college. And then it happens to be, oh, but we also need to fight for the house. I feel like the show, the main storyline was they need to fight for the house. I like how they did it better in the book. And come to find out, Belly ended up crying. She saved the day for Laurel. Like, Laurel saved the day and they got the house back. On the show, they had Susanna's sister, you know, trying to sell the house. And then Adam is on board with the sister, but then Laurel saved the day, and then Taylor and Steven. We didn't really get Taylor and Steven joined in the bandwagon in the second book. And I feel like that's what they needed. Like I said, Steven was really irrelevant. We got to see Taylor in the book. We didn't really hear from Steven in the book. So that was, you know. And then Belly, she didn't do the debutante in the book. That was all on the show. She didn't do the debutante. We got to hear more from Nicole from the first book. Now, this is what I was confused on in the first book. He had a girlfriend, but it wasn't Nicole. I just felt like Nicole should have just been the girlfriend. Like, I feel like they either should have just cut that out, that he had a girlfriend, then he hooked up with Nicole, or they should have just made Nicole the girlfriend and they got back hooking up. I feel like that's what should have happened. Oh, and also, in the third book, So Conrad and Agnes actually hooked up, and it seemed like he really liked her. Now in the book, it didn't really say how they stopped seeing each other, stopped hooking up, but you could tell Agnes was still the voice of reasoning because she felt she could see herself fall in love with him, but he was still in love with Belly. But I just love how he tried to move on in the third book. He just realized he couldn't. And then Denise was in the book, but she wasn't Steven / Jeremiah's Patricia boo. She was actually Adam's boo / secretary. I just thought that was so like weird. And Redbird wasn't gay. But Taylor had a crush on Redbird. That's crazy. I'm trying to see you guys. Overall, I think that's really it. I just wanted to tell you guys how I felt about like comparing between the books and the show. Like I said, I like the show better. I can't wait to get Amazon Prime so I can like binge watch the show. Because I already know the movie is coming up. I don't know when they're gonna set the movie. Comment down below. I think we gonna get the movie 2026 or 2027. What y'all think? But yeah, I just want to talk to you guys about the book and the show and let you guys know that I read it. And yes, you guys, the next book, I'm going to read this to all the ones I loved before because I love those movies so much, especially the first one. Laura Jean is my girl. I feel like Laura Jean is really my twin. I feel like I get her more than Belly. Me and Belly, I am not like Belly at all. I would be Belly's friend, but I just feel like me and Laura Jean, we're on the same page. Because I feel like Laura Jean is literally my twin. Like, that's literally my sister from another mister. Like, I love Laura Jean. So, yes, I'm going to do a video on that. But I just wanted to, like, let you guys know that, yes, I finally read the Summer I Turned Pretty book. And I think the show is still better than the book. But I like the flow. I like the book flow better. Especially in book 2 and 3. So yeah, comment down below what do y'all think, when y'all think we're gonna get the movie, and comment down below if you guys read the books. Do you like the show better, the books better? Let's just talk in the comments. And also, you guys, comment down below some more Vlogmas ideas, Christmas ideas or non-Christmas ideas. Comment down below some Vlogmas ideas, okay? But okay, you guys, I hope you liked this video. Make sure you like or dislike, thumbs up or thumbs down, comment. Please be Panthers, subscribe. Turn your post notification bell so you know when the next video is gonna be here, okay? Follow your girl on Facebook at Pinky. That's PINKY space PINKY. And follow two of my Instagrams. One at Show the Pinky and the other at PinkyBear00. And like my saying goes, let's smile to yourself. Don't worry, be happy, okay? Make sure you subscribe to Pinky's Entertainment and Mr. Shady. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, and the very next day, you gave it away. This year, save me from tears, I give you someone special. I think I also messed up all the lyrics, but don't cover me, okay? This girl Pinky, PINKY, and I'm so